Good morning, class. Okay, everyone has had a chance to do their starters this morning. Okay, what we're going to do now is go over our agenda for the day, and that is starters, and then we're going to do the anticipation guide for Africa's salt trade, and then we are going to, after we finish the anticipation guide and read the story, we're going to finish our triangle countries and hang them up like the rest of our classmates have them done, okay? Now, when we're reading about Africa's salt trade, there are going to be a few vocabulary words that some of y'all may know and some of y'all may not know. We today are going to do a word wall for West Africa, and we're going to do it for both chapters, okay? Just like Miss Holloway has across the hallway, we're going to do over here. And as we come up with new vocabulary words that we might not know, we're going to put them up on the wall after we define them. So if at any time you're reading and you're confused, please don't hesitate to look at our word wall, okay? Our first word for the day is essential, okay? This means very important and necessary. Kind of like your binders are essential for class every day. Isn't that what all of your teachers tell you every day? Essential, very important and necessary. This is our first word on our word wall. Our second one for the day is blistering. Everyone see this? Blistering. This means very hot. Kind of like the parking lots in Robertsdale during the summertime. It means very hot, blistering. Our third word we talked about yesterday when we were doing the map. And we talked about Gambia, that was the little worm country in Senegal. We said that it was landlocked, okay? We talked about it being landlocked. That means surrounded by land. So there's no water access like the ocean or the Gulf. There's no water access. Landlocked. Our last word, some of y'all have heard because it's somebody's name in our school and other people know someone that goes by this name. The name is precious. In this case, it doesn't mean another student. This means valuable and costly. We've learned in West Africa that there are a few things that they consider precious. One would be their gold. Two would be the diamonds. And three now we're going to learn about is salt. How precious salt is. Some of y'all would consider your favorite video games precious. For most of you, you should consider your cell phones precious. Those are like your lifelines to all your friends and everything going on the weekend. So I bet for everyone in our class, cell phones would be considered extremely precious. Now, if everyone will open their textbooks to page 400, and you will find on your desk that I've already passed out the Africa Salt Trade Anticipation Guide, okay? What we're going to do with this, first, please write your name on the top so that I can give credit for everyone who participates today. Okay, everybody got that? Now, there are 5 statements on the anticipation guide. What we are doing is we're going to anticipate what this story is about. These are 5 facts that were written down that will come up during the reading of our story. You might not know the correct answer for number 1, but what I want you to do is do your very best. Do you agree or disagree? If you don't know the answer, still check one of those 2 boxes, okay? And I would like you to go through all 5 statements. Let's do number 1 together, okay? It says every person contains about 20 ounces of salt. If you agree with that statement right now, please check this box right here that you agree. If you disagree, then you're going to check the box next to it and put disagree. Okay? Now, if you will do the second statement where it says salt is plentiful in the Sahara, okay? Let's do that one. What we're going to do is do all 5 statements. As soon as you get done, if you will look up at me, then I will know that you finished all 5 statements. And then what we're going to do is read the story, Africa's Salt Trade, and during the reading of the story, we will see if these statements are true or if they're false, okay? Because not all of them are true and not all the statements are false. I mix them up so that when we're reading, it gives us something to look forward to figure out if these answers are true or if they're false, okay? This is a really fun way to take a story that you're not familiar with and learn more about it, okay? It's kind of like a story like you go to the movies and you anticipate what's going to happen. You see a preview. This is kind of like a preview of what's to come, okay? Okay, everybody's done? Okay, I am going to read Africa's Salt Trade to you. While I'm reading, you may follow along in the book if you like, or you may just look at me and listen to me, okay? But during the reading, please pay attention for these 5 statements, okay? And they're going to be obvious. You're going to hear me talk about them. When I do, if the answer is changed, you need to make a note about it, okay? Because this is a before, a during, and an after reading guide, okay? So, and when we get done, then we're going to talk about what to do on this side, okay? So, now we're going to the middle. Is everyone ready? You write out their books. Daniel, you got a book? Terrific. Okay. Please pass the salt. It's on page 400. Okay. Passing the salt at dinner may not be a big deal, but in parts of Africa, salt built empires. How did such a basic substance come to play such an important role in Africa? Guys, this is just like all of the salt that I brought to y'all. This is going to be very important to Africa. Salt is essential for life. Every person contains about 8 ounces of salt, enough to fill several salt shakers. Salt helps muscles work and it aids in digesting food. In hot climates, people need extra salt to replace the salt lost when they sweat. In tropical Africa, salt has always been precious. There's one of our vocabulary words, which means costly and valuable. Now, I'm going to pause for one moment so that we all understand the anticipation guide that we're doing. If everyone noticed, I went over the very first statement, okay, where it said every person contains about 20 ounces of salt. I just went over that, okay? So if you need to make a correction, please do, okay? From the first paragraph. Y'all ready? Salt is plentiful in the Sahara and scarce in the forests south of the Sahara, in present-day countries such as Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. These conditions gave rise to African salt trade. Beginning in the 8300s, Berbers drove camels carrying European glassware and weapons from Mediterranean ports into the Sahara. At the desert's great salt deposits, such as those near ancient sites of Tarazah and Tudini, they traded European wares for salt. The salt did not look like tiny crystals in a salt shaker. It was in the form of large slabs, as hard as stone. The slabs were pried from hardened salt deposits that were left on the land long ago. Is everyone still following along in their anticipation guide? We should be about on the 3rd one now, okay? The salt slabs were left on the land long ago when landlocked seas, another vocabulary word, when landlocked seas evaporated. The salt slabs were loaded onto camels and the animals were herded south. To people in the South, salt was literally worth its weight in gold. The slabs were cut into equal-sized blocks and exchanged for gold and other products such as ivory and cola nuts. Salt was also traded for enslaved people. So in this part of Africa, salt is as valuable as money to us, okay? If you had a pile of salt, then in this part of Africa, you were considered rich. The rise and decline. Camels arrived in Africa from Asia in AD 300. Before that time, only a trickle of trade, mostly carried by human porters, made it across the blistering desert. In time, caravans of thousands of camels loaded with tons of salt arrived at southern markets. Local kings along the trade routes put taxes payable in gold on all crossing their realms. The ancient empires of Mali, Ghana, and Songhai, the three we've talked about in yesterday's lesson, rose to great power from wealth brought by the salt trade. Trade routes also provided avenues for spreading ideas and inventions. By the AD 800s, Arab traders brought to Africa a system of weights and measures, a written language, and the concept of money. They also...
Dustin Pantel, report to the office, please. Dustin Pantel.
How many minutes do we have?